सो यहाँ पे हम लोग देखने वाले हैं how we can solve the assignment problem for the minimization. Okay, and there are some steps, so simultaneously we are taking that all the steps, but yes, this is a assignment problem for the minimization. Okay, this is very important. So this is your example. So in that we have to find out, or we have to see, is this example is a balanced example or not. So how we can recognize it, is it balance, वो example balance है या फिर नहीं है. So when your number of columns are equal to number of rows, so at that moment we can say it is a balanced example. And as we know that over here there are 5 rows and 5 columns, right? So we can say it is a balanced example. When it is clear that this is the balanced example, then we are going to move on the another stage. So in this case we have to do first the row reduction, right? So first step is your row reduction. So what we have to do in a row reduction, क्या करना है हमें, we have to see this one, this row, first row, and we have to find out the least number out of this. So सबसे छोटा नंबर हमें find out करना है, और उसके बाद में हम लोग उस नंबर को हर नंबर से that means every number of that row, उसी रो के हर नंबर से हम लोग उस स्मॉल नंबर को हम लोग माइनस करेंगे या फिर रिड्यूस करेंगे. ओके, सो अल्टीमेटली 8 इज योर लेस नंबर, लीस्ट नंबर. So here we are taking that 8 and we are going to subtract from all the numbers of that particular row, only this particular row, right? So 8 minus 8, 0, 8 minus 8, 0, 8 minus 8, 0, 11 minus 8, this is 3, 12 minus 8, this is 4, right? So same as that we have to do with this. So over here 3 is your least number. So yes, over here the same thing again, we are going to subtract it just like over here we did. So this is your 0, this one is 0, this one is also 0, because we are going to reduce the least number. This one is your 3, this one is 4, right? So and over here this is become 1, that is 4 minus 3, because 3 is the least number out of this row. So 4 minus 3 is 1, 5 minus 3 is 2, 6 minus 3 is 3, 3 minus 3 is 0, and over here 4 minus 3 is become 1, right? So we have to see in this row with the same thing, 8 is the least number. Okay, so we are going to subtract this 8 from every element of that particular row. So 12 minus 8 is 4, over here it is 3, यहाँ पे आएगा 2, and if you see over here it has become 1, and ultimately this is your 0, right? Same as that if you see over here, so 15 is the least number. Okay, so we are going to subtract that 15 from every number. So this has become 8, sorry 3, this has become 6, this one is 3, this one is 2, and over it is become 0, right? And here 8 is the least number, so I'm going to subtract from all the numbers of that particular row. So it is become 2, यहाँ पे आएगा आपका 3, यहाँ पे आएगा 2, and over here we are getting it is 0, right? And over it is become 4. So this is your row reduction matrix. This is your row reduction table, we can say, right? So this is your first step. So what we have to do, the row reduction first, then we are moving down. Right now what we have to see, we are going for the column reduction. Okay, so see this one, this is for your column reduction. So I'm going to paste the same table over here for this action, and we are doing the column reduction. So yes, in column reduction the same process we have to do. So with that we have to take that row reduction table, we are going that means इसको लेके ही हमें जाना है नीचे, and then the same we have to see in every column which number is a least number. So if you see over here 0 is your least number, so we are going to subtract this 0 from every element of that particular row, particular column, right? So when I'm going to subtract 0 from all the numbers, so it is that all numbers are become as it is. अगर आप इस column में देख रहे हो तो यहाँ पे भी आपको 0 मिलेगा, this one is the least number, and that number we are going to subtract from all other numbers. If you see over here the same thing we are taking. If you see over here यहाँ पे भी आपको 2 0 दिख रहे हैं, right? And when we are going to subtract, the numbers are become same. So for that kind of table, that that column reduction table is same as that the row reduction table, right? So yes, this is our second step where we cover, that is the column reduction. After that, after doing this one column reductions, we are trying to make the lines which cover the maximum 0. So we are drawing the lines. तो यहाँ पे हमें lines बनानी है on this table, so that main issue क्या है हमारा, we have to cover the maximum 0 by that line. So we have to draw the line in this way, in column wise or whatever it is row wise, but it should be covered maximum 0, right? So in that maximum 0, so I'm just going for the row wise. So in which row and which column we have the maximum 0, we are going to identify this. So यहाँ पे आपको दिख रहा है first row, and over here we are getting a 3 0. अगर आप सेकंड रो में देखते हो 1 0 है, थर्ड में आपका 1 0 है, फोर्थ में आपका 1 0 है. सो वी आर कवरिंग फर्स्ट रो. सो ओवर हियर बिकॉज वी आर गेटिंग द 3 zeros in that row. Same as we are just going to deal with the column. So in first column we are getting 1 0, second one in 1 0, third में भी 1 0 है, fourth में आपको 2 zeros दिख रहे हैं, and fifth में आपको 2 zeros दिख रहे हैं. So yes, if you go with the maximum 0, so first I'm going to draw this line over here. Okay, so when I'm going to draw the line, so yes, so यहाँ पे हम लोग करेंगे, we are going to draw this line here which cover the 3 0 first. Yes, it cover the 3 0. Now again I'm going to see which row or which column having the maximum 0. So I'm not getting over here in any row and any column having the 2 zeros. Sorry, in any row we have the 2 zeros, but yes, in this column we are getting the 2 zeros, right? So that two columns are separate. So यहाँ पे हम लोग draw करेंगे lines. So like this I'm going to draw, and one more line I'm going to draw over here. Okay, so one more line I draw. So it will cover all the zeros. Done up to this. Now I have to see the number of lines and number of columns. Is it same? What we have to see. Okay, so यहाँ पे हम लोग देख रहे हैं, just we already discuss about it. Number of rows and number of columns are greater than number of lines. So line यहाँ पे आपको 3 दिख रही है, whereas आपको number of rows and columns are 5, right? So according to that means ये अभी हमें improve करना पड़ेगा. We have to improve this table. So अभी steps क्या है when I'm going to improve this kind of table, right? So हमें करना क्या होता है at that moment? So let's say I just keep that line, should be over here. Yes. So करना क्या है in this case आपको? So what we have right now, see, we have near about 3 type of data. So first data आपका इस type से है. So in this data or this kind of data is called uncovered data. So it is not covered by any kind of line. Okay, so we are saying it is a uncovered data. This data, that means if you see this first row, so this data, this one and this one is called covered data. Okay, so this is your covered data. So the this one and this one is your covered data, and this data, that means 3 and 4, is on the intersections of the point, right? So it is on the intersections of point. So we have to see that one also. So यहाँ पे आपको करना क्या होता है when we are dealing with this? We have to take the uncovered data and find out the smallest number out of this or the least number out of this. So if you see the least number out of this, 1 is the least number out of this uncovered data, right? So just take that one or the least number and subtract this number from all the uncovered data. All the uncovered data. So I'm going to subtract this one from all the numbers. So 1 minus 1, this is 0. It's not only for that particular row, but it is we have to subtract from all the numbers from that uncovered data. Okay, so all the numbers which is uncovered, वहाँ से हमें वो subtract करना है. This is 3, this one is 2, this one is become 1. यहाँ पे आएगा आपका 2, यहाँ पे आएगा आपका 5, यहाँ पे आएगा आपका 2. Then here 2 minus 1 is 1, here 2, यहाँ पे आएगा आपका 1, right? So we already subtract this 1 from all the uncovered data. होता क्या है, इसके बाद आपको क्या करना है? You have to leave that data which is covered by the line. उसको हाथ नहीं लगाना है. But yes, this least number, that is 1, in this table we are getting a 1. So what we have to do, we have to add this 1 in the data which is on the intersections of that two lines. So what I'm going to change this number, I'm going to change this number. So 3 change होके आपका होगा 4, because over here I'm going to add the numbers. और यहाँ पे भी add है, right? So this is your new table right now. This is your new table. So I'm just going to delete that lines. This is your new table. And now again the same process. That means I'm going to draw the line which cover the maximum 0. Okay, same process. So I'm taking a line over here. and we are drawing the lines. Before that we have to see in which row and which column we have the maximum zero. So अगर आप देखोगे पहले रो में ही 3 0 है, so we are going to cover this 3 0, right? Then what you are getting over here in the next row there are 2 zeros, right? So यहाँ पे भी हम लोग इसको draw कर लेते हैं, so it is also going to covered. If you see the next one, so आपको next इसमें आपको यहाँ पे over here we are getting a 2 0, right? So what we are going to do, we are covering this by the line. This column we are going to cover by the line. So I'm going to cover the line by this. Now in this you are getting only the single zero, so I can draw the column wise or the row wise, but over here I'm going to avoid to draw the line by the column wise, because if I'm going to draw it by the column wise, what we are getting it that zero is on the intersection of two lines, right? So I'm trying to avoid that point over here. So if that kind of situation arise, try to avoid that line over there. Okay, so instead of that I'm just going to make this line over here. Done. So I'm going to avoid the line. I can make that kind of line, but I'm going to avoid that line because it is on the intersection. So I'm going to avoid that one. Okay, so again you have to see your number of rows and number of columns and number of line. Again we are getting there are total 4 lines only, right? There are total 4 lines and 5 rows and columns, so it is not applicable over here. Again we have to make the changes. So just I'm taking this table as it is, otherwise we can do the changes over here. Okay, we can do the changes over here. So so what you get over here, the same thing again, we have to see the uncovered data. So this is your uncovered data. Okay, so in that uncovered data, which number is the minimum number? Yes, 1 is the minimum number. So we are going to subtract this one from all the uncovered data. So this is your uncovered data. I'm going to subtract this one from the uncovered data. Yes, so this one is become 2, this one is become 1, this one is become 0, this is 0, this is become 1, this is 1, this one is 4, and this one is 1, right? So okay, so we have done with one steps, that is subtract the least number from the uncovered data. Right now what जो आपका data covered है line से, उसको हाथ भी नहीं लगाना है. Okay, so only we are going to change the data which is on the intersections of the line, right? So this 5 is on the intersections of two line, so I'm going to add this number. So 1 जो हमने यहाँ से uncovered में से subtract किया है वही आपको वहाँ पे जाके add करना है. So 6 is there. So as well as this 1 is also going to change into the 2, right? और ये जो आपका 4 है वो भी चेंज हो जाएगा, and this one is also change into the 5. Clear? So in this way we have to change the data. Now I'm again going to, because again we have to draw the lines, so previous line I'm just going to delete it right now. So I'm just going to delete that all the lines, and new lines we are going to draw. Again we have to see the number of zeros in column and rows. So here your first row having the 3 0, right? So करेंगे क्या हम लोग, फिर यहाँ पे एक line draw कर देंगे. Then after that we have to see in which row and which column we can add. Yes, so over here we are getting 2. Okay, so in third line I'm getting the 3 0 again, right? So here हम लोग भी क्या करेंगे, यहाँ पे पहले draw कर लेते हैं on the C, because we are getting a 3 0 over here. अभी आपको ये देखना है, so which line is there? So यहाँ पे over here we have the 2 0 in this column, in this row. So just put a line and cover 0 by the line, right? Now over here there are 2 lines, so instead of making in a column, क्योंकि वो पूरा intersection में जाएगा, so I'm just making it on a row wise. Okay, so how many lines we got right now? Right now we got 5 lines, right? So our number of lines, number of rows and number of columns are become same. So here we are going to that means that making of that lining and improvement of these steps, that process we are going to stop over here. Okay, so just I'm going to delete, because we are right now अभी हम लोगों को assignment देना start करना है, so we have to give the assignment, so that I'm just going to delete that lines. Okay, so you need a fresh table for this. Okay, done. Now in this process, that means I'm going to give the assignment. So यहाँ पे अभी आपको क्या देखना है, when we want to draw the lines, क्या process था, आपको maximum zeros देखने थे किस row में और किस column में maximum zeros है. But over here when I'm going to give the assignment, I have to see in which row or in which column we are getting the single zero, किस रो में या फिर किस कॉलम में हमें सिंगल जीरो मिल रहा है. सो अगर आप देखोगे यहाँ पे तो 3 जीरो है, अगर आप इस सेकंड रो में देखोगे तो 2 है, थर्ड रो में आप देखोगे तो 3 है, फोर्थ में आपको सिंगल दिख रहा है, राइट? तो आपको करना क्या है इन दैट केस, सो वी हैव टू ड्रॉ और वी हैव टू कीप इट इन अ what we can say, we are keeping it on the box. This 0 we are going to keep in the box. So like this, I'm going to keep it in a box, and I'm just going to cross, just I'm taking the different color. Okay, so here we are taking it in a box, and the other 0 which is appear in row wise or the column wise, I'm going to cross that 0. तो यहाँ पे हम लोग क्या करेंगे, जो आपके कॉलम में उसके ऊपर या फिर उसी रो में आपको दिख रहे, so that zeros we are going to cross. Done. So this is your first assignment. Now again I'm getting one single 0 in this row. आपको इस रो में सिंगल 0 मिल रहा है, कॉलम में हो आपके 3 0 है, बट रो में आपको सिंगल 0 मिला था. सो आई एम जस्ट गोइंग विद दिस, आई एम गिविंग द असाइनमेंट टू इट. और जो बाकी के जो 0 है विच इज रिलेटेड टू दैट कॉलम और विच इज रिलेटेड टू दैट 0, आई एम गोइंग टू क्रॉस दैट 0. तो इसको हमने क्रॉस कर दिया है, इसको भी हमने क्रॉस कर दिया है. Right, now we have to consider that crosses and again to find out which column or which row having the single 0. तो आपको क्या दिखेगा यहाँ पे, if you see in this row these 2 zeros are become cancelled, तो ये आपका सिंगल बचा हुआ 0 है. राइट, तो मैं इसको यहाँ पे असाइनमेंट दे देती हूँ और वी आर कीपिंग इन अ बॉक्स. सो अल्टीमेटली होगा क्या, दिस पॉइंट और दिस 0 इज बिकम कैंसल्ड, दिस 0 इज बिकम कैंसल्ड. अगेन आई एम गोइंग टू फाइंड आउट विच रो और विच कॉलम हैविंग द सिंगल 0. तो इस रो में इस रो में या फिर इस कॉलम में आपको 0 दिख रहा है, सिंगल 0. सो आई एम गोइंग टू कीप इट इन अ बॉक्स. इसको बॉक्स में डालने के बाद आपको ये क्रॉस करना पड़ेगा. राइट, अगर मैंने इसको क्रॉस कर दिया, so this is the process when you are going to keep it is in a assignment table. So all zeros which is related to with the same column or with the same rows, that all the 0 we have to cross. So right now over here we are getting this is the single 0. So this is your single 0 and I'm going to keep it in a box. So this is your assignment, these are your assignment. Right, so in this way we have to make the assignment. And finally what we have to do, final में हमें करना क्या है right now. So we are taking the number which are related to this box, the numbers which is related to this box, I'm taking that numbers. Okay, so here what we are doing, okay, if you go for the original table of this, तो आपको ये मिलेगा. So this is your original table, sorry, this one is your original table, and the part which is we taken in as assignment, so just look out the cell, this is B1. So you have to take the original number from this, right? So B the number, okay, we are making the highlight. The next number आपका आ रहा है यहाँ पे, this is your E4 number, so 80s we have to consider, right, according to here. And the last number, okay, one more number is there, that is 10 number we have to take. This is your 10 number and 15 number. So that all the numbers are coming from the original table. This is your original table, okay, and I'm just highlighted that number which is related to the assigning cells. So same thing, okay. So see this one. So what we have to do, the next step on this, we are taking that all the numbers, right, from the original table, and after that we are going to add that all the numbers. So here what we are doing, we are going to add the all numbers. So yes, 8 plus, okay, so here I'm going to add this 4 plus 8 plus 10 plus 8 plus 15. So after adding that all, your final answer is over here 45. So 45 is your assignment. Okay, up to that we have to do. So it is very simple. First in first step what we have to do, हमें एक रो रिडक्शन टेबल तैयार करना है, उसके बाद में कॉलम रिडक्शन टेबल तैयार करना है, उसके बाद में लाइंस ड्रॉ करनी है, दैट लाइंस आर विच कवर द मैक्सिमम जीरो वो कवर करें. एंड आफ्टर दैट वी हैव टू काउंट दैट लाइंस एंड नंबर ऑफ रोज एंड नंबर ऑफ कॉलम्स. सो वी हैव टू कंपेयर, अगर नंबर ऑफ लाइंस आपकी कम आ रही है, सो एट दैट मोमेंट वी हैव टू इम्प्रोवाइज दिस टेबल. तो again we have to go for the covered data, non-covered data and intersections, that means the data which is on the intersections of two line. So जो non-covered data होता है, इसमें से आपको least number निकालना है और फिर that number we have to subtract from all uncovered data. It is not only related to the row or column, but yes, we have to subtract from all the data which is uncovered by the lines. जो covered है lines के अंदर, दैट डेटा वी आर कीपिंग एज इट इज़, बट वही नंबर लेके आपको जो दो लाइंस के बीच में इंटरसेक्शंस हुआ है, तो उस लाइन के इंटरसेक्शंस ऑफ पॉइंट पे जो नंबर्स है उसमें वो नंबर जाके आपको ऐड करना है. Okay, and in this way we can make the improved table, and all the time we have to do the process again. We have to find out the number of lines, newly हमें lines बनानी पड़ती है, फिर से हमें वो काउंट करनी पड़ती है. अगेन वी हैव टू अप्लाई द नंबर ऑफ रोज, नंबर ऑफ कॉलम्स इज इक्वल टू नंबर ऑफ लाइन्स है या फिर नहीं. जब तक वो नहीं होती है, सेम प्रोसेस वी आर गोइंग टू apply over them, right? And when we are getting the final कि क्या है, मतलब नंबर ऑफ लाइन्स एंड नंबर ऑफ रोज एंड नंबर ऑफ कॉलम्स आर बिकम सेम, देन वी आर गोइंग टू गिव द असाइनमेंट. बट असाइनमेंट देने के टाइम में आपको ये देखना है कि किस नंबर ऑफ किस रो में या फिर किस कॉलम में आपको सिंगल जीरो दिख रहा है. यू हैव टू गो एंड गिव द असाइनमेंट ओवर देयर. उसको असाइनमेंट करने के बाद आपको करना क्या है, उसके रो वाइज उसी असाइनमेंट वैल्यू मतलब जीरो के ऊपर या फिर लेफ्ट हैंड और राइट हैंड साइड में या फिर नीचे अगर कोई जीरो है, दैट मीन्स एज वी नो दैट इट इज ऑन अ सेल, और सेल जो बनता है आपका रो और कॉलम से बनता है. सो आपको उस रो में और उस कॉलम में देखना है कोई और जीरो भी है. अगर कोई और जीरो है तो उसको आपको क्रॉस करना है, राइट. एंड देन अल्टीमेटली अगेन वी हैव टू फाइंड आउट कि कहाँ कहाँ पे हमें जीरो मिल रहे हैं, सिंगल जीरोज मिल रहे हैं नंबर ऑफ रो और नंबर ऑफ कॉलम्स में. सो समटाइम यू आर गेटिंग नंबर ऑफ रो अगर कंसिडर करते हो तो वहाँ आपको जीरो एक दिखेगा, बट अगर उसी कॉलम को आप कंसिडर करते हो उसी रिलेटेड, तो मे बी उस कॉलम में आपको मोर देन 2-3 ऐसे जीरो भी दिख सकते हैं. बट वी आर गोइंग टू कंसिडर ओनली द रो वाइज, जस्ट फॉर द एग्जाम्पल. ओके, सो वी हैव टू असाइन देयर एंड क्रॉस द अदर जीरो विच इज अपीयर इन अ कॉलम वाइज और द रो वाइज. ठीक है. उसके बाद में आपको इन द फाइनल स्टेज जहाँ जहाँ पे हमने असाइनमेंट दी है उसके ओरिजिनल नंबर्स आपको लेने हैं ओरिजिनल टेबल से. दैट मीन्स फ्रॉम द क्वेश्चन में जो आपका ओरिजिनल टेबल था दिया हुआ, उससे आपको ओरिजिनल नंबर्स लेने हैं उसी सेल्स में से, एंड जस्ट ऐड दैट ऑल द नंबर्स, सो यू आर गेटिंग योर असाइनमेंट. So in this way we have to find out the assignment. Thank you.